Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. We've got a packed show today. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome in this Monday morning to Undisputed Live from Los Angeles. I've already lost control. I'm Molly Saunders. Skip, Shannon, and Joy are off. So joining me today, Chris Broussard, Greg Jennings, and Mr. Rob Parker. We are with you the entire week. I feel like that's kind of ambitious, though, considering the personalities at this table. That would require us not to, swear on the air. You guys not get in a fist fight, insult each other's mothers or something like that, you know?
I'm worried about you now. I'm worried about you.
No, I'm not worried about you, Holly. I'm worried about this guy, right? I never know what's going to come out of your mouth. I don't know whether sometimes you just muzzle it or just wait and just slap whatever came back out back in.
The real guy to worry about is Chris Broussard.
Right.
This morning when I drove in, I figured, I'll park in Skip's parking spot. He had already taken it. Look at you. I didn't have a Corvette.
I was going to say, you rented the Corvette at Christmas time.
I wish.
You didn't have the cash to do it after the holidays. All right, let's get into our first topic of the day, guys. Let's get started with the new-look Cavs. LeBron and his new teammates blew out the Celtics and his former teammate Kyrie Irving yesterday, 121-99. LeBron finished with 24 points and 10 assists and didn't even play in the fourth quarter. As far as his new teammates go, George Hill, Jordan Clarkson, Rodney Hood, and Larry Nance Jr., they finished with a combined 49 points in their debut with the team. After the game, LeBron spoke out about the new roster. Take a listen.
It's a good start, man, it's almost like the new guys have been here. Started with George and, his on-the-ball pressure and, him just running the team. And then the three guys came off the bench. Jordan is, he's ready to score at any point in time, but his composure was great. Rodney plays with so much poise, and Larry was just controlling the perimeter, saying great pick and rolls, got him a lob, got him a dunk. It's a good start for the new guys, good start for all of us, with our revamped team so far. It's my job as the leader of this team to make sure that I acclimate the new four guys to be around a culture that's built around winning and built around practicing championship habits.
Dude, Chris, pretty simply here, are you surprised at how well the Cavs played?
Well, look, I expected them to win. I thought that these new pieces would come together quickly, but I would be lying if I sat here and said I expected that type of performance to go into Boston and blow out the top team in the East, if you will. A special night in Boston with the Paul Pierce jersey retirement. The Celtics had lost 2 out of 3 games, so they were wanting to come out and make a statement, and obviously the Cavs just blew them away. But I said from the beginning, as soon as these trades were made, that the Cavs were going to be dramatically improved. And there's so many things to point out. One thing I'll point out is the spirit and the energy that these new players brought. And Ty Lue mentioned it. LeBron was energized and rejuvenated about it. And here's what's happening. These guys they brought in, the 4 players, are excited to be in the situation they're in. George Hill, he's played 8 of his previous 9 seasons in San Antonio, Indiana, and 1 in Utah. 8 of those 9 years he's made the playoffs. He is used to playing for championships. Even though he's never, got there to the championship with Indiana, he's used to being on a team that had a shot at winning it all or felt that way. He was down in Sacramento. So now he's excited. He's rejuvenated to be playing for the Eastern Conference title and maybe beyond that. Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood's been a big-time scorer per minute. He's come off the bench and been a great scorer off the bench for the past 3 years. But in Utah, has anybody noticed it? If he did what he's been doing the past few years, especially this year when he's averaging 17 points a game, in other cities, he would be getting a lot more publicity. So he's looking at it like, now's my chance to shine. And look at the wide open shots he got last night. So Hood is excited. Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson has been a very good scorer off the bench for the Lakers, but he's always been kind of tossed aside. It was Brandon Ingram. It was Julius Randle. Now it's Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball. He's never been that young up-and-coming player in the public's eyes in L.A. Now it's one thing to play second fiddle to Lonzo Ball, Julius Randle. It's a totally different thing to be second fiddle to LeBron James. So he's excited. And then Larry Nance Jr. is from Akron. His dad still lives there. He starred for the Cavaliers, his dad. So he's excited. One of the few players that might be excited to go from L.A. to Cleveland. So these young guys, in addition to what they bring on the court, they have brought a renewed excitement that has rejuvenated LeBron, Ty Lue, and really that whole team, including J.R. Smith.
I'm with you. I'm definitely surprised. I'm definitely surprised at what we saw last night. But I'm not surprised that they're going to be, and they were much improved because of the reasons that you stated. But what I look at is not just the guys that they added, but what they took away. They took away guys that had already felt like they had this sense of entitlement. That had been superstars, if you will. Dwayne Wade, older veteran, very well proven in this league, but he had already won titles. He had been that guy before, so he didn't have that sense of urgency, if you will. Then you have a guy like Derrick Rose, who was gloomed with injuries, but he MVP caliber player, but he just never had that opportunity, or I shouldn't say opportunity, he's never had that season where he's gotten back to that stage, but his mentality has always still been, I'm still one of the best players in this league, when his play hasn't said that at all. And then Isaiah Thomas, a guy who I use Drake's started from the bottom, but now I'm here. Like that's Isaiah Thomas. He started from the bottom. He rose to the top in Boston. He was a superstar caliber guy, got to the playoffs last year and really got exposed because of his height, got injured, got traded. Now he's gotten traded again, and he's thinking in LA, I'm not trying to go back to the bottom. So I think it's a matter of who they removed. And then, yes, bringing in the young, energetic guys, length, athletic ability, but they also will challenge the guys that remain on that roster. Larry Nance Jr. challenges now Tristan Thompson to awaken what we saw when they were at their best at Cleveland Cavaliers. J.R. Smith being challenged now by Rodney Hood. Like, they have challenges. So within their practice of going back and forth 5-on-5 and scrimmaging, it's going to be competitive, and that's going to help them in the long run.
I hate to rain on you guys' parade, because here we go. I'm just... Chris, you've been covering the NBA for a long time. Now stop it. The first game, you're telling me one game is going to tell you, so if they would have lost last night, that would have told you what? That it doesn't work? That it doesn't work? You cannot look at one meaningless game in February in the NBA, I don't care what game it is, and tell me all of a sudden it's going to work.
So
Greg
it's not
Jennings.
going to work?
No, I'm just saying nothing's changed here. This is much to do about nothing. You could change the reason that team was in such a funk prior to these trades was because of LeBron James, who had the worst plus minus in the NBA, Greg Jennings, since Christmas. So those players played off of LeBron James, the vibe that he was giving them, and that's why they didn't play well. But now I'm supposed to believe that Rodney Hood, George Hill, Jordan Clarkson is going to make the difference, and now they're going to win something because they got how many championships did they come with? 0. I'm trying to tell you that the Cavs were going to go to the finals after last season, during this season, before the trades, after the trades, because I know that this league is about the best players always win, and you can't beat LeBron 4 out of 7. If it's a one-game series, I agree with you that there was a chance that the Cavaliers weren't going to make it out of the East. Who's in their way? Boston's not in their way. Toronto's not in their way. Washington's not in their way.
But are you telling me they're not a better team? You're
telling-
right. One game doesn't really matter, but this was an impressive start. And you would assume they're going to get better.
Had
This
they
was
lost,
Boston. This wasn't Orlando.
Had they lost yesterday, you mean to tell me that you would have looked at it and go, oh, wait a minute, I don't know if LeBron's going to make it out of the East?
No.
So nothing's changed,
No,
right?
I felt like
plenty
that.
has changed. Just look at it. Look at the way they played defense. Look at the open shots.
But what was I
guys.
just
Look at the energy.
Yeah, but I'm saying LeBron was the reason. It's not the other guys.
Why was he down?
No.
Because of what he had around
You say LeBron was the reason.
Yes.
He was a part of that. Absolutely. I totally agree with you there. But for him to take full blame, no, it's not. It
They
wasn't full.
followed the best players lead.
You're exactly
Why was
right.
he
But
down?
when he has to do everything every single night in, night out, put up the amount of minutes. He had no ability to go to the bench and recover and come back in with any energy that he started the game with, because he didn't have anybody to come in the game and give him a spark to work. Like Jordan Clarkson will do that now.
So when this group loses 4 or 5 games in a row, what will people say? Now what? Now what will be the reason?
No, I think
those guys came. They've never had any played in championship caliber. I just say there's always an excuse for LeBron no matter what. He's the best player in the league, the best player on the planet. The reason that team was struggling is because he didn't play well.
But why wasn't he playing well?
You tell me.
He was looking at what was around him, and
he knew it wasn't going to work.
He's at some fault for that. You're the best player. You can't let your spirits get down, and he did. But he had a team. Look, LeBron needs the floor spread. You saw last night that they had shooters. They spread the floor. He drew double and triple teams, kicked it out to them. They hit it. With Dwayne Wade and Isaiah Thomas and Derrick Rose, the floor wasn't spread. It was crowded for him, so it was a whole different vibe in that regard. And then the guys that could spread the floor couldn't guard.
I'm glad you brought up Isaiah Thomas. Everybody talk about game 1. He looked great for the Lakers in game 1. When people get traded, you know what they do? They try to show their other team that they made a mistake. That's natural. It happens often where guys will play a really good game.
So you're saying this Cleveland team is no better than it was a week ago?
No, it's no better because it all still comes down to LeBron. Are they going to beat the Warriors with the 4 players that they added?
I want to watch.
No, I'm asking you.
I want to. Right now, I wouldn't say anybody's going to beat the Warriors, but I want to watch and see if they continue to improve, and then maybe I'll give them a shot. I'm not writing that off as a possibility. That's right.
So you're telling me it's about
and
Clarkston.
Look, you just said they have LeBron, so you have a chance. Nobody can beat them 4 out of 7.
It is about LeBron. That's all I'm saying is that you could change these pieces. Last year, LeBron averaged a triple-double and was in a 5-game sweep. Against the Warriors.
Because of what was around him. You couldn't ask much more from him.
And these guys are better than the guys who won a championship.
It's about fit, and this should be a lesson to people around the NBA. It's not just about grabbing the best talent, grabbing the biggest names, and all the players seem to think that. It's about chemistry and fit. Houston's got a big what? 2, not 3, not 4, and they're the second best team in the league because they got good role-playing pieces that fit around Harden and Chris Paul. That's now what Cleveland has. I'm not saying they're going to beat Golden State right now, but I'm saying the pieces fit so much better. I can't fathom anyone except you and Skip thinking they're not a better team. Even Skip thinks they're a better team.
They definitely are a better team because of what the pieces fit better. Simply adding George Hill at the point guard, it does it. That does it right there because LeBron now has a guy who knows that he's going to not be the number 1 guy. Isaiah Thomas was unwilling to submit. He wasn't willing to be Robin. He was unwilling to do that.
So
and
let
when
me
you're
see.
playing,
The Cavs are better with George Hill than Kyrie Irving. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is he's a better fit because he knows his role, and LeBron plays better with role players who get it done in their specific role, and then he's a better on-ball defender. He doesn't have to expend energy trying to chase around a point guard anymore because George Hill has that taken care of, and then you got more length and more athletic ability, more bodies to throw at a Kevin Durant and all these guys that the Warriors have that typically shoot them out of the game. So, yes, they are a better team. You don't think that they're a better team because LeBron is your biggest focus point.
Because that's what it always comes down to.
But you need LeBron. One player cannot be a great team.
But the reason that they were in such a funk had a lot to do with what
question.
LeBron was not doing. And that's all I'm saying is that.
So you don't think the guys around him were wearing on him and his ability to perform? You don't think that had?
No, I'm not saying that it had nothing to do with it, but I'm just saying those guys could have come around and played better. We know Isaiah Thomas is a better player than we saw in those.
But he's not the right fit.
But a better player than he did play is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, but if you don't fit, it doesn't matter.
You remember his first game?
He played well.
He had a great game. Everybody said, "Oh, look, Kyrie who?" Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was not that long ago.
Here's the thing, though, you're not taking into account. The team they had a week ago was slow. It was old.
Yes.
There were several players that did the same thing. They had slashers that couldn't really shoot outside, that needed the ball, that were used to being the number one options. That's all different now. You're not going to, like you said, George Hill's not going to cause any problems. He's happy in his role. Jordan Clarkson is similar to D. Wade at this point, Isaiah Thomas, Derrick Rose, but you had 3 of them. Now you got 1. Now he can come in and do his thing. When J.R. Smith is not shooting the ball well, which he's always up and down, now you have Rodney Hood to come in and play where before you really didn't have any other shooter at the 2-guard spot you could put in. They're just, the pieces fit so much better, and that's what you're not taking into account.
This is what was sold to us during the offseason. When all the players moved and, oh my God, the NBA, I don't know what's going to happen. No, we do know what's going to happen. Before the season, right? It's going to be the Cavs and the Warriors. I never flinched from that's going to be the NBA Finals for the 4th year in a row. I never believed in Boston without Hayward that all of a sudden, with them losing one of their big pieces, that they were going to beat LeBron James in a 4 out of 7 series. I never bought into that. And I know that they didn't play up to their potential, but I know where LeBron is. You can't beat that guy 4 out of 7. And those other guys were eventually going to come around. That they were going to play better than
to what? That's the thing.
Play better than where they were playing.
Are you saying
ridiculous.
Cleveland doesn't have a better? Look, again, I'm not picking them over the Warriors, but are you saying they don't have a better chance of matching up with the Warriors now than they did 3 days ago or 4 days ago?
So instead of losing in 5 games, they're going to lose in 4, or they're going to lose in 6? Which one?
Losing in 6 impressively, would be better than a 5-game sweep, as you call it.
I'm not giving them that either. I'm not doing that.
I'm gonna wait and see. I'll see how they improve. But you have the best player in the world. You have athletic young pieces, shooters, guys who can defend, and they have the athleticism and the strength to be good defenders if they're taught the right technique and buy in, which I believe they will. Look, I'm just saying, let's see how they improve going forward, but they're much better. There's no question.
It blows me away because we always talk about, go to football. We talk about Aaron Rodgers or are the Packers wasting his talents with the guys around him because they hadn't brought in the personnel to fit and be as productive as he has been. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers are in a situation where they didn't have guys being productive. It was the personnel around them. It was wearing on their guy. He saw it. It was visible to even us as fans, us as viewers, to see this isn't the same LeBron James. We had never seen LeBron perform and look in his disposition the way he had been looking these last few weeks. He knew, I believe he knew that this is not the constructive team that we've put together that can even get out of the East without being unscathed to even have anything left to compete in the finals. I truly believe he believed that. And that's why they went younger. That's why they got more athletic. That's why they got guys who, if JR is not having his 12-point year average a game, put in Rodney Hood. Let's go. Let's get another shooter out here.
Mark my words. This will be LeBron James and the Cosby Kids, because that's what they brought in, some kids who haven't done that. Other than George Hill's played 83 playoff games, but you're really asking for some guys who haven't been on that spotlight and haven't been in those situations where the other guys that you did have played in some big moments in big games, and maybe it wasn't working.
Here's the thing.
I still would rather have veterans who have been in those big moments. Remember.
But you do.
Right.
Is Kevin Love not still there?
Oh, I know Kevin Love is there.
Tristan Thompson.
No, but you just told me the 4 guys they got.
Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love, J.R. Smith.
So what about these
Kyle
4 guys?
Korver?
You're telling me the team was changed.
They have a mixture.
The guys
it was too old. Now it's a good mix of young and old.
Even with the guys that they had acquired prior to all of this, in the beginning of the season, the one that they stuck with, Jeff Green, he was the best too. He was the best acquisition. Yep. Why? Because he was more athletic. He's more of a two-way player that's going to give you good defense, athletic ability. He's going to give you the energy, and he can hit some threes. He can spread the court. He can do everything. He's more versatile. So when I look at Kevin Love, honestly, with the way they played last night, I'm looking at how does Kevin Love really fit in, because offensively.
Slow down, brother.
Wait a minute.
No, don't get crazy now.
No. Because offensively, the game slows down when you're trying to play through Kevin Love because he's more of a half-court set player.
Well, you don't have to play through him. You put him at center. Now it's only 2 games, but at center against the Warriors, he's averaged 24 points and 12.5 rebounds. In the past years when he's been at the power forward, he couldn't even hardly stay on the court against Golden State. But you put him at the 5, now you're cooking because you can put him outside. You don't run the offense through him, but you have him out on the three-point line. He can hit threes, occasionally go in the post. Yeah, here's where I agree with you, Rob. I think they would have won the East too, even if they hadn't made trades. But there was one thing that scared me and concerned me about that. You said it, you're right. LeBron was unmotivated. He was dispirited, and for the first time really in his career, we saw a different type of LeBron. They may have gone into the playoffs feeling that way. He may have gone into the playoffs thinking, okay, we can win the East, but once we get there, we're going to get demolished. And that lack of motivation may have come back to bite them and allowed them to get upset in the Eastern Conference playoffs. I don't think that exists anymore because I think he believes more in these guys than the ones he had before.
That's fair.
Stop ganging up on him.
It's all right.
No. Your suit and tie combo is absolutely tragic. We can't. I don't want them to keep ganging up on you. You can't handle it for 3 full
tragic,
hours.
That's like bad meaning good, right? Tragic meaning good.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's the real tragic.
No.
Well, he's Detroit.
It's not
that's
like
repping Detroit.
No, like you're getting at. No, it's not like me saying that's bad or you're bad and meaning that's hot. No. That's not what it is.
It's tragic. It's whack.
Come on, Holly.
No mercy.
And we roll on here on Undisputed. Isaiah Thomas made his debut with the Lakers on Saturday. LA lost by 7, but Isaiah caught fire and finished with 22 points in 31 minutes off the bench. Now, Isaiah received the lion's share of the blame for the Cavs' struggles before he was traded, but sounded rejuvenated to be on a new team. Check it out.
I just wanted to come in with energy. I just wanted to bring something to the table. Felt like I got my powers back playing on this team now, so I just wanted to bring that energy, bring that intensity, and make plays, and then the ball happened to go in.
We're now joined by FS1's Doug Gottlieb. Doug, are you buying that Isaiah is back, my friend?
No, I mean, I don't. Look, he lost $100 million in this whole deal. Between the hip and kind of what happened in terms of getting exposed as being a defensive liability and not making shots, he could not be the Isaiah Thomas of the Boston Celtics with the Cleveland Cavaliers. The market's not going to be great this offseason. That Isaiah Thomas is gone. But if he can simply embrace this role as a come off the bench, frankly, what Jordan Clarkson was, then yeah, and he did look rejuvenated. But let's be real here. They played against the Dallas Mavericks, who were trying to lose the game. Look at their fourth quarter roster, and I dare you to try and identify who Maxi Kleber is. Does anybody know who Maxi Kleber is?
Absolutely, he's the guy.
Yeah, you got no idea.
No, wait a minute.
He's not even a
Switzerland. They had that TV show in the 50s, didn't they? The Klebers.
Okay, so the point is, the Mavericks were trying to lose. The Lakers had the second best record in the NBA since January 1st, and the Mavericks still won the game. So, look, I like that this is a divorce to which everybody feels better about it, right? Cavs, we just went on and on about how the Cavs feel better, and he feels better, and Jay Crowder feels better, and Derrick Rose isn't injured yet, so he feels better, right? But the fact is that I don't think that you'll ever see the 29 a game MVP caliber Isaiah Thomas ever again. That was a special moment. But it's like when Matt Ryan was the MVP of the NFL. Like, Matt Ryan was never a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, but everything, play calling was great. Julio Jones was great. 2 running backs, playing indoors, NFC South down. Like, everything worked out, kind of a perfect storm. And then the perfect storm of negativity was with him in Cleveland, coming off of the hip, trying to fit into a team with too many point guards. This will refresh him, rejuvenate him, get him some more shots. But he's always going to be a backup. He's never going to be happy about it. And at night, when he sits at home alone, he's got to be thinking in the back of his head, I lost $100 million in the last 7 months. No, I don't. I'm not buying that he's back to the Boston Celtics, Isaiah Thomas.
I'm buying that he is back, but I'm looking at it from a different angle. I'm saying he's back because it's all about him. That's all Isaiah Thomas is about, is him. he doesn't care really about winning. Yeah, you want to win. I shouldn't say he doesn't care, but he's more prone to let me get buckets. Let me put up my shot. Let me get mine, and then everything else I'm cool with. When you look at his stat line last night, he had 6 turnovers. Forget everything else. He had 6 turnovers.
A season high 6 turnovers.
6 turnovers, but I got my powers back. Yeah, he got his powers back because he was able to shoot at will. He was able to handle the rock. It was his show. That's the only thing that he really cares about. When you have a guy like that on your team, when you have a young team, it is not going to work. So from a standpoint of, is he back? Yes, he's back because he feels like I can run the show, but is he back to being the Isaiah Thomas that we saw in Boston? No, because he doesn't have Brad Stevens. No, because he's not running that offense. No, because he doesn't have the type of guys around him to where he can run that pick and roll offense and be effective, and he's just a defensive liability. We saw that in the playoffs, and we'll continue to see it as everybody exposes him with his height. But I think it's a little man syndrome. He wants to make sure that everybody knows I can still score. That's all he really cares about. He's not trying to win. He's about points.
And when you talk about he got his powers back, they lost the game of all the other stuff that you're talking about. You lost to Dallas. What powers? I mean, I wouldn't be out there sticking my chest out talking about, I got my powers back. They lost. And you're right. The 6 turnovers, people forget about that. Yes, he scored 22 points. We know he can score. We know he can play, Doug. That's not an issue. But now you have to go back. That Isaiah who was in Boston, that's gone. That moment came and went. So now you got to reestablish yourself that you're willing to come off the bench, be a quiet guy, play your minutes, reestablish yourself in the league, that somebody's going to say, this guy, you know what? I give him credit. He humbled himself. He's able to come and help a team. You don't want to scare away people who have young players. If he goes and makes a mess in L.A., teams with young players say, we can't bring that guy in here. So you can't, right? You can't have that. You got to be able to show people that you're willing to conform and do whatever. We talked about it off the air. Same thing. Remember, Allen Iverson had a hard time. Had Allen Iverson just said, I'm not the same guy. I can come off the bench, play. His career could have played 4 or 5 more years, but he didn't want to accept that. You have to be willing to accept you're not that guy. You're not in that system. And I'm not so sure one game is enough for me to believe that he's all in on this and he's going to watch these other young kids in L.A. play and just be happy with it. His agent, what did he send Rachel Nichols? A text before he even got to L.A. He's not coming off the bench. Is that the way you start?
Well, look, you said it earlier. His first game in Cleveland, 17 points in 19 minutes. And everybody was thinking, wow, this is just the first game. He's going to be great. One of the reasons he rubbed people in Cleveland the wrong way was because of his statements, about we don't practice, we don't work as hard as Boston did, so on and so forth. Aaron Goodwin, who's his agent, who's a very good agent, he needs to sit Isaiah down and say, look, you got to zip the lip. You can say it more diplomatically, but you have to stop making these statements. To come out and say, I got my powers back. You mentioned a loss, but it's more than a loss. The Lakers were on a 4-game winning streak.
They have been playing great. What did they win, 11 out of 15?
They've been playing great.
Trade?
Then they were playing, to your point, Dallas is probably tanking, but also the second worst record in the league. 6 turnovers. And you say you got your powers back? Like, that just shows, I'm just looking at not even the box score. I'm just looking at one column in the box score, which is P, points. That's it. And so he has got to, you said it, what's the market going to be for him? He's got the bad teams with young players might say, I don't want him to bring because he'll stunt their growth because he's just going to be about getting his. He has to show that he will come off the bench. And I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. He got mad, but Jamal Crawford, Lou Williams, he's that type of player. Jamal Crawford is an asset to a really good team.
Absolutely.
So is Lou Williams because they understand their role. They're not great defenders. They come in and score just like Isaiah, but they don't run their mouths like they're the number one option on the team or they should be this, even if they feel like it. Because Jamal feels like he is as good as anybody in the league. But he doesn't, exactly. So Isaiah's got to dial it back again. The Boston guy, the hip injury was horrible for him.
Yes.
But he was that was an aberration. Even if he were healthy, he's not a 29-point scorer regularly for several years on a great team. And Danny Ainge saw that. Said, we can only go so far with this guy as our top dog.
Well, look, you mentioned Aaron Goodwin, his agent has to sit him down. I think Crawford, another Seattle guy, Jason Terry, another Seattle guy. Yeah. Like, those are the guys that need to sit him down and be like, yo, look, you can play for 10 more years, or like Allen Iverson in Denver, they're going to get rid of you, even if you still have gas in the tank. Now, obviously, the difference in him and Allen Iverson is he takes care of himself off the floor. AI never did, and that's why AI was out of the league a lot sooner than he should have been. But there are a lot of comparisons there. Now, look, part of it that we have to remember, you cannot be 5'8", 5'9", and average 29 in the league if you listen to guys like us, or if you listen to reality, right?
No, absolutely.
You have to believe they don't know what they're talking about. But it also speaks to, remember, we always talk about Allen Iverson and the 1 year he got to the NBA Finals and how an incredible achievement that was. Or even LeBron, when he got to the NBA Finals, was that in 2007, right, where he had nothing around him. But a lot of that, I think we're starting to learn, or basketball fans are starting to learn, that basketball people know, is it's all about the construction of the team, right? That Boston team last year was with guys who couldn't score. They just had all junkyard dogs, undersized dudes, and then they hit him defensively, and everybody else just got after it. And then at the end of the game, they go, Isaiah, take us home. And you start playing at a level above your normal level because you have confidence and everything's built around you. And so, look, I agree. He needs to stop making statements. Like, you already got, at some point, LeVar is going to show up stateside with his water, with his new water, and all his other, and his shoes, and they're going to be making statements against each other. But Lonzo Ball is the future. You are in the Jordan Clarkson role. Embrace it. Show the league that, hey, you give me 20 minutes, I get you 20 points. That's what I do. Okay, but if you keep pushing to start, if you're a problem in the locker room, the league talks. And there's a reason that at the end of this year, he'll be on his sixth team in 6 years. Right. You got to be a dude who everybody wants to be around. And I think everyone likes him off. Like, even LeBron likes him off the floor. Nice guy, like, he's a great dude. He's an incredible story. The last pick in the NBA draft, 5'8", averaging 29 a game. But you got to be somebody that people love to play with. And right now, he does not have those feelings in the NBA.
No mercy. Back in on Undisputed, the Eagles beat the Patriots over a week ago to win the first Super Bowl in their franchise's history, and they have not been quiet about it. They've already had their parade and heard Jason Kelce's underdog rant, and now offensive lineman Lane Johnson is taking shots at the Patriots. Take a listen to this.
I just think the Patriot way is a fear-based organization. Obviously, do they win? Hell yes, they win. They won for a long time. Do I think people can say, I had a lot of fun playing there? No, I don't. Right. And that's just God honest truth. Are they successful? But when they go to interviews, they act like, right? Hey, let's stop being a and be cordial for a little bit. Hey, you only get to do this job one time, so let's have fun while we're doing it.
I like that.
Not to be reckless, but hey, I would much rather have fun and win a Super Bowl than be miserable and
win 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah, win 5 Super Bowls.
Greg, do you have a problem with him bashing the Patriots culture? Wow.
I do not.
Oh, look at you.
I don't.
Look at you, man.
I don't see.
Patriots hater.
No, I'm not a Patriots hater. I love what they've been able to do. But this is a guy. We all recognize what Lane Johnson is saying. These guys are puppets at the podium. All except Tom Brady, and even Tom won't go too far. He'll buck a little bit, but he won't go too far. But when you got to think, Lane Johnson he's a player that's playing alongside LeGarrette Blount and across from Chris Long, who just won a Super Bowl last season with the New England Patriots. You don't think they've shared these comments about the Patriot way? Like, this isn't just him just saying something out of the side of his face. No, he's heard this, but you see it. Regardless of if they've had conversation and they've told him about what the culture is and what it's like, we all know, as a former player, I've talked to several guys who played in New England, one being Ty Law. It's like, man, they try to control everything you do. And it's evident with just watching them at the podium. You heard about him talking about just, guys, loosen up, have fun, embrace it, enjoy it. When you win, there's a certain way that people want you to look and things that they want you to say when you win. Lane Johnson right now is taking every shot that he possibly can. Why? Because he had to listen to every one of us and everybody else talk about what they weren't going to do, how they were underdogs, how they shouldn't have made it even out of the first divisional round. And so he's like, look, we're having fun. This is who we are. I can relate to what Lane Johnson is saying because we felt like that in Green Bay. We were the loose team. We were the young team. We were the underdogs. The Pittsburgh Steelers were the team that if the Pittsburgh Steelers win, will they be considered a dynasty? We don't care about that. All we care about is winning, and we went about it our way. And that's what the Philadelphia Eagles were able to do this year. I commend him. He's only saying what we all see. It's you can refute it all you want. What Lane Johnson is saying is clearly evident.
I have the comments from Lane Johnson that weren't in the sound, the clip that we heard. So he also added there that it feels great to win a championship fair and square. And also, it's also great to win when you don't have the other team's defensive signals. So he just threw all that stuff out on the Patriots. But I'm with you on this. I love it from this standpoint, and he's right. Because of Belichick and the success that they have, they can treat players like they don't matter, and we've seen it. Guys coming in and now fear-based, will cut you. They don't care because they've had that kind of success. Whereas other teams look at players and maybe they don't have that because they haven't won and they need the players. So I do see what he's saying. The Eagles were loose. Everybody counted them out for the most part. Not everybody, but a lot of people did. And what did they do? Even after their quarterback got hurt, everything, they just continued doing what they were doing. Their coach, perfect example. Everybody say, okay, you're in the Super Bowl now you got to be a little more rigid. No. He did all the same stuff that they had done all year. They didn't freeze up like a lot of teams do against the Patriots. They played their game of football. So I understand what he's saying, and I'm all about it. And it's easier to say. They did win. Patriots lost. When you win, you get to say whatever you want, and I love it. So I'm all in on Lane Johnson.
Look, the question was, do you have a problem with Lane Johnson?
No, I don't.
Who are you? And I like Lane Johnson, and I like being loose.
You trying to tell him to stay in his lane?
Who are you? You won one Super Bowl.
Here we go.
Who are you to criticize a team that has won 5? And you're essentially criticizing Bill Belichick.
Number one.
This is, in most people's opinion.
He did not criticize them. He just said.
He said they don't have fun, and I would rather win 1 and have fun than win 5 and not have fun.
That's just sharing his sentiments.
That tells me you're satisfied. He's satisfied with his one little ring. The great thing about New England is they aren't satisfied. Tom Brady isn't satisfied with 5. He isn't satisfied, and everybody except Rob Parker thinks he's the GOAT. That's the culture. Look, the fun comes in the winning. Bill Belichick, from everything I've read, doesn't care what you do away from the facility. He just wants you, when you're in that facility, when you're in front of that mic, when you're in the meetings, it's game day, be dialed in. All you want to do away from the facility, as long as you dialed in, you can. Tom Brady just made a bunch of documentaries.
How'd that work out for him?
Rob Gronkowski doesn't have fun? I mean, come on.
He's
you
the
can
only guy
have
who has
fun when you're not in the building. And then you reap the benefits in the offseason. You got all this time to have fun as a winner.
Chris,
That's the fun.
You look at those two.
One Super Bowl and you criticizing the GOAT coach and the GOAT quarterback?
You look at those two teams. You tell me, just by looking at those two teams, which team would be more fun to be on?
Fine.
I'm asking
it ain't
you.
about having fun.
No, but they had fun and
winning.
they won. And
they won.
No, but that's the one that we're talking about.
You don't think Tom Brady's having fun?
Chris, let me break it down to you like this. Let me break it down to you like this. You got kids, right?
Yes.
What do you tell your kids when they go play sports?
My kids aren't getting paid millions of dollars
Answer the
and
question.
on national TV playing.
Answer the question first.
When they played their little high school field hockey, go have fun.
Okay, now
and they have fun winning, not losing.
Okay, so if they continue to elevate to the next level and get to the professional ranks, you're gonna want them to stop having fun just to win?
No, who's saying
that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying because you're saying what they're dialed in. I get it. You can't tell me that it's impossible to be dialed in but yet have fun. It's possible.
Does Rob Gronkowski not have fun?
Who else?
He's Tom Brady in his own way. Look, I do agree that they have I've talked to some of the people that have worked in that organization. It is different. That's what I've been told. They don't have as much fun as other teams. But to say they don't have any fun, and I would say fun is in the winning. How fun is it to go to have your last game of the season be a loss?
Okay, so fun is in the winning. So how do you think they felt when they didn't win this past
They're
Super Bowl?
down.
They're down just like any other team. And probably you would wish, if you were a part of that team, man, I didn't even have fun while we did all this. I couldn't even enjoy it.
Right, along the way.
I couldn't even enjoy it.
I think it's different types of guys. There are some guys. Look, Tom Brady, I wouldn't have fun eating his diet. But he likes that. He has fun eating it. There are different types of players have fun doing different things. A Gronkowski can be who he is there. Like I said, I understand it's a more buttoned up culture.
Absolutely.
And some guys can't deal with it.
That's all Lane is saying.
Kevin Falk.
It's fear-based.
Kevin Falk wrote in the Players Tribune a year ago about how much fun he had with the Patriots, how he's so happy that he played his entire career there. He talked about Tom Brady and Matt Castle going back and forth with pranks in the locker room and all that. I think you can have a degree of fun, but it might not just be the no-holds-barred atmosphere that Elaine Johnson and maybe some other players want. But I would take winning with fun in moderation versus winning every blue moon, as I think the Eagles did. We'll see what they follow up with, and having all the fun, you want to have. Because you can have fun. You got plenty of time to have fun.
I'm all about having fun. I'm all about winning. But at the same token, if you tell me I have to sacrifice who I am just to win, I'm unwilling to do that.
Sacrifice it where? For the hours that you're in the building?
But it doesn't matter where or when or how long. You're telling me to leave a piece of who I am. Mm-hmm. No, leave that outside. Leave that outside. When you get in here, straight face, let's focus. It's locked, so we can't crack a joke on something.
But that's once
we don't know. I'm really dissecting it right now.
They can't crack jokes. I'm sure they can crack jokes.
But my point is, what Lane Johnson is saying is it's fear-based. It is. When you listen to even Belichick at the podium, you listen to him. It's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, are you saying that? I mean, it's like,
good.
It's really
not worth the 5 rings.
I'm not saying, I would love to have the 5 rings. I'm not going to say I wouldn't, but you're not going to minimize my one.
Look,
because I had fun with
it. But look at it from this standpoint. He's just saying the way that they went about winning and the way that their team was set up, that he's looking at it saying, I enjoyed this the whole ride. It was fun. We did what we were supposed to do. We got counted out, and we won. Right. So there isn't only one way to win by being buttoned up and have a gruff coach and getting rid of players like they don't matter. That's what he was saying. One guy went down Wentz, and the next guy came in. It wasn't like the Patriots are the only way to win championships. That's the way I read it.
Absolutely.
I didn't look at it as about joke time and practical jokes and all that. I'm talking about there is another way to win.
He did not say there's another way to win.
There is.
He said I agree, there are plenty of ways to win. Nobody's won as much as them. And you guys know in various sports, a lot of the best coaches, managers, whatever, are stern. I mean, look, he did some crazy stuff. But Bobby Knight ran a fear-based ship, and he's one of the best coaches in basketball history. There are several coaches who have been like that. Greg Popovich, every player's not built for the San Antonio Spurs, and some of them get shipped out. But those that can handle it get rewarded handsomely because they win, and they have fun in moderation.
Phil Jackson.
He's a different breed. And I'm not saying that's the only way to win. I'm not saying the only way to win is the Belichick way. Right. I'm just saying you, after one Super Bowl, you a week later.
How many does he have to have? He has to have 3 or 4 before he can speak out?
You are criticizing the team that won 5. The GOAT coach, the GOAT quarterback.
Let me tell you something, Chris. When you knock out the champ, they're no longer the champ in your eyes. You are.
Stay the champ.
Here, let's try
That's
that.
all I'm
Let's do
saying.
our
Stay
own
the
experiment.
champ.
Rob and Greg, you guys be super loose the rest of the show. You be super stiff. We'll see who has the
how
better.
it works out.
Yeah, who has the better
Buttoned up.
arguments.
There we go.
I'm into it.
Come on,
And we'll
Chris.
see who's got the rings at the end of the
No mercy.
All right, guys, the speculation was Josh McDaniels was guaranteed to succeed Bill Belichick after he turned down the Colts job at the last minute, but former Patriot Willie McGinnis said he talked to McDaniels and he told him he was, quote, absolutely not promised the head coaching job when Belichick retires. So back in Indy, they moved on by hiring Eagles offensive coordinator Frank Reich to a reported 5-year deal. And now to discuss this, we're joined by FS1 NFL analyst Eric Dickerson. Eric, welcome.
Thank you.
The big question here, did McDaniels make a mistake leaving if he was not promised Belichick's job?
Well, first of all, you know, you have your word. And he gave his word, you know, that he was coming to that organization, the Colts, and all of a sudden he backs out. That's a real bad look. I think he was promised something. I know for sure he was promised more money. I think that, you know, when you have a great owner like they have in Robert Kraft, and Robert Kraft was in that meeting also, I guarantee you something was said to make him stay. I mean, they're going to say, you know, you might get a job, you know, we might keep you, you know, I'm not sure. I guarantee you that they said, look, when Bill leaves, this is your job. But still, it's a really bad look for a coach to say, I'm coming, I got my staff hired, and then all of a sudden they don't show. I mean, well, you know, at the last minute I back out. Now, who did that before? Bill Belichick did the same thing.
He did it with the Jets.
Right. He did that with the Jets. So, yes, I believe it's a bad look, but is he standing in the right place for him? I would say probably so, but I don't like the way he did it.
I agree with you. I think he made the right decision. When I look at
McDaniels made the right decision.
Yeah, absolutely. McDaniels made the right decision. Josh McDaniels, he made the right decision to stay. When you have an opportunity to continue to play or to coach a Tom Brady, continue to build your resume, it's something that we could never attest to because we're not in that position. And most coaches that I know, they coach to become a head coach. Well, we know his last stint in Denver didn't end so well. And so I don't know if that played a role in it. I doubt if it did. I think more than anything, it was a matter of him not really understanding or fully knowing Andrew Luck's situation. I think that plays more into him not really staying true to his word than what we will ever know. And obviously, Robert Kraft definitely sweetened the pot. You don't have to offer me the head coaching job once Belichick is gone. You just have to offer me something. No one ever really wants to uproot their family and move on when they enjoy where they are, when they're winning and they're having the type of fun that they're having over in New England. No one wants to leave that. But
Are they having fun?
Rings is fun.
No, we've talked about that.
I don't think so.
They're not having fun.
We've
Not the
talked
kind of
about
fun you want
that.
to when they win.
But I think this is the best situation for Josh McDaniels to stay, and whatever Bill Belichick ends up doing in the near future, he slide into that successor role. Maybe, we don't know, but they definitely offered him something. To your point, you don't pull back from a head coaching opportunity as a coach in any profession and not take it because of nothing. Or
I want to take it one step further. I blame the Colts for this. I really do. From this standpoint, first of all, you're getting a guy who already had issues. Josh McDaniels, go look at what happened in Denver. Why did he lose his gig? Because he went out and he was recording the walkthrough that the 49ers had in London, right? Where did he learn that from?
Where did he learn that from?
Okay, so that's funny that's the guy that gets another opportunity to be a head coach, right? He also, what was the team that reported the Patriots to the league about Deflategate? It was the Colts. They were the ones, right? And then you got to take a look and say about with those two things with them, and then the Belichick thing on how he, walked out on the Jets and all that. So just coming from where they were. The Colts put them in a bad spot by giving this guy an opportunity, and then he winds up leaving him at the altar. Number two, I agree that there probably was some sort of agreement with the Patriots, like without putting it on paper, but hey, stick around. You never know what could happen around here. Because I still believe deep down, Robert Kraft, given what's happened with them losing and the feud between Brady and him and Kraft picking Brady, that there's a long way between now and training camp. There's a chance that Bill Belichick could wake up one morning and be like, I don't want to be here, or quit, in May or June or before training camp. So I think that Kraft, thinking of that, is why that he pulled Josh McDaniels and said, don't go.
Remember, Belichick was in that meeting,
too. I know, but Kraft is the guy who makes that. This whole idea that Belichick all of a sudden told him, well, I'll be your mentor and I'll do all that. All the years he's been there, now he's saying he's going to be his mentor.
Right.
You ain't no mentor if somebody has to be on the verge of leaving for you to all of a sudden say to yourself, oh, I'll help you in your coaching career. That don't even sound right to me. He didn't just show up last week. He's been on the staff, left, came back. Now you're asking for help from Belichick. So I say Colts are number one to blame. I think McDaniels did an awful thing to those assistant coaches who moved their families, who took those jobs, who he walked out on. That was all wrong. And if I'm another team in the NFL, I would never offer him a job ever again, a head coaching job, because of the way he's done what he did to the Colts and what he did when he was in Denver. And
I hear you, and the way he did it was horrible. He probably won't get another job offer. But if he had gone to Indianapolis and his heart was still in New England, but he was just being a man of his word, if Andrew Luck, who knows when he's coming back, or if he comes back, if he's not the same, and they failed, he wouldn't have got another head coaching job anyway.
And you're going to stay with a 40-year-old Tom Brady who could be injured or break down any day now.
But
the whole idea that they're banking on winning something with he'll be 41 next year.
But
he just threw for 500 yards.
Did they win?
Here's the thing with McDaniels in New England. You know this, Eric. What you want as much as anything as a head coach is an owner and front office that believes in you.
That's it.
If you have that, then you can have a successful future because they'll be with you when you struggle. Bill Belichick was 5-11 his first year in New England. He had come off an unsuccessful stint in Cleveland, but Kraft believed in it. We see it in Cincinnati with Marvin Lewis. People were critical of Mike Tomlin, but Rooney stayed with him. I mean, if the ownership believes in you, then they will give you a legitimate chance. And it looks like McDaniels, whenever he takes over as head coach, because he will. Look, Belichick even saying, I'm going to bring you in on salary cap management. I'm going to bring you in on team building. What's that? Why? Why are you bringing me in if it's not to prepare me
for being the head coach? But in Denver, he was in on that stuff. He was the coach at Denver. He's the one who traded for Tim Tebow, traded up. He's been involved in that.
He was involved on his own, but he wasn't he hasn't done this Belichick. He didn't do it well. He only lasted, a year and a half? I think the writing's on the wall. Eventually, who knows, 7-8 years it could be. He'll be the head coach, and he will have it.
7-8 years.
I mean, I don't know. It could be 1 year. It could be several. But whenever he takes over, Kraft will believe in him, and he'll get a legitimate chance.
That's the one thing that you said.
Absolutely.
Is that when you have a great look? I played for some not good owners.
Who? Can you name them?
I didn't want to say. You know I played for. You know I played for. I ain't got to say. I had this conversation with Ezekiel Elliott. We were at Hall of Fame, and I put him to the side. I said, "Look, man, you play for a great owner, an owner that believes in you." I say, "You play for one of these bad owners, you will see the difference. It is a big difference. When you play in an organization that is all about winning, I mean, they really want to win. It changes your whole dynamics because we as players, we want to win. We go out there, we play hard, and people see us cry. They're like, why are you crying? Because we put our heart and soul into playing this football game. When they saw Tom Brady cry, I understood why he cried.
Because he made the big turnover that lost the game?
No.
He got a jab at
it. Because, you want to win. It's all about winning, and how you win, it doesn't make a difference. I hate to say that. If you what's the old saying? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. We know the Patriots know for cheating. But I say again that, with Bill Belichick being there, Tom Brady being that, whatever their rift is, the man that owns that football team is Robert Kraft. He makes all the calls. And I really believe that he told Josh McDaniels, look, you stay here, and I guarantee you, not in writing, that you'll be the next head coach.
Yeah, can I convince you to stick around? Sorry, we got to wrap up a little bit here. Is that all right? I'll cut you off really quick.
No. Did you hear that?
Okay.
What?
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah, okay.
Rob, no, he know how it is.
They're cheaters.
So stop all that stuff. Stop all that cheaters.
No mercy.
Tom Brady's Facebook documentary, Tom vs. Time, aired its first 5 episodes leading up to the Super Bowl, but the 6th and final episode has been put on hold. Why? Well, the filmmaker said that there was a plan to release the last episode, but it was tied to New England winning the Super Bowl. That obviously didn't happen. So Chopra added a quote that he felt like he needed to pause and recalibrate. So that's been delayed, the release of that final episode. We're joined once again by Eric Dickerson. But first, Rob, what do you make of this delay of the documentary?
This thing should have been titled Tom is Tacky. That's what it should have been called. I'm telling you. Talk about arrogant and cocky. That you released this before the Super Bowl, and you know they thought Eric, you know they thought they were going to win.
You know they did.
This is what Tom, it was all set up. I want to see the footage that they got to send to some foreign country that we'll never see in the United States, because it was all set up. Tom's the greatest, Tom versus Time. Oh, my goodness. And it was all set up there, and then they lose. He gets outplayed. I don't want to hear about 500 yards. He got outplayed by Nick Foles, who made unbelievable throws, played the greatest game of his life. And now Tom Brady, that argument and that documentary doesn't hold the same weight. We're going to wait around for the second half of it, the end of it. It'll never come, because it's not going to make any sense. They'll wind up scrapping it. He lost. Well, he had some nerve to do that before the Super Bowl.
I do agree with that. I feel it. First of all, Time never loses. Know that.
No, Father Time is undefeated.
It's undefeated, you know, and I don't understand. I understand the documentary, because I think Tom is, if not the greatest quarterback of all time, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time for sure, arguably. You know, it depends on who you like. But, you know, to do this documentary, and like you said, they thought they were going to win this football game. They didn't win the football game. So it kind of looks kind of tacky. So how do you go back and how do you fix it? You wait till next year and see if they play? Or how do you, I mean, that's my question. How do you end this? I mean, that's the big question. Do you just let it sit, or do you kind of fill it in? Because he had a great game. I mean, he did. You got to say he had 500 yards passing. You know, he had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and they had 33 points.
He also fumbled to lose the game, the biggest play of the game. Don't forget that, Eric.
I didn't forget that, but that wasn't his fault. The defense did make some plays.
All right, exactly. It was a great play.
That was a great play by the defense. So, you know, I don't know what you do with it. I don't know how you got it.
Well, look, he released this long Instagram post about how, you know, this can be a learning experience, and, you know, you learn from everything. Well, he has to learn. He should have learned this in 2008. But he has this habit of getting ahead of himself. Remember 2008 when Plaxico Burress predicted we would win 23-17, and Brady laughed it off like, oh, we only going to score 17 points. Because they had broken the record that year for, you know, points in the season.
I think 37 a game.
Like 37. Almost 37 points a game with Randy Moss. I mean, it was crazy. They got beat, obviously, but it was even 17-13 with 17-14.
They only had 14 points, right?
So that was an example of him getting ahead of himself. This, by releasing this early, he could have waited, and had they won the Super Bowl, you could have released this whole thing, and it would have been just as big or maybe bigger than them releasing it before, or you could have obviously held it in the case that you lost. So he's got to stop. As great as he is, don't get ahead of yourself and start talking when you need to keep quiet.
For me, I've watched it. I enjoy it. And I think that it's great. So whether they released it or not, do you expect me? I'm just going to put myself in Tom's shoes really quick. I'm not Tom. I don't have 5 Super Bowl rings. I just got 1. But you expect me to have a backup version of losing? Is that what we expect him to have had? A version where, oh, just in case we lose, let's make that one.
It is TV, baby.
It's television.
They taped it with him talking about having won it?
I think they did.
See, you don't need to do that.
I think they definitely taped it with in mind, thinking, okay, we're gonna win this. That's just a confidence that he has.
But is he sitting there saying,
but I think,
yeah, it was a tough one, but we overcame?
No,
we overcame.
No. I don't think he's doing all of that because he understands you got to play the game.
Okay.
I don't think he thought it was a shoo-in, but I think he was hoping, just like they said, that they won. But I think they should still use part of that and let him build on that and say, yeah, this was a learning experience even for me because I prepared to win. I don't prepare to lose. So you don't have to backtrack all the way because he has a growth mindset. He has an expectation of winning. You can't knock him for that.
No.
Much as you want to.
Listen,
have you watched it?
Let's get Bayless over here.
Using the language and everything.
No, it's fact. It's fact. I'm not going to.
But look, he has to have, right? Okay, so there's an ending to it. You mean to tell me as producers, you don't have another ending just to, how do you work this if you lose? There's a chance you could lose. So now they're sitting there. I talked to the producers earlier. I think they're going to try to cast Roseanne Barr for the second. She's going to run out.
No. I want you to, Rob, I want you to pay attention to what you're saying. You got to think about how religious Tom Brady is. I don't think that he is going to even promote a thought at them losing because of his mindset.
I get that.
But and then to your point of 2018, 2008 against the Giants, why wouldn't he laugh that off?
You just, because you're getting ahead of it, just say, okay, that's what Plaxico thinks.
Good for him, right?
Exactly. He should be confident. He laughed it off and he got, I don't want to say exposed, but it came back to bite him. They didn't even score 17.
Okay. Wait a minute. Not one of us up here would have, if we were betting on that game, or if you did not think that they would only score 14 points.
I bet on the game. And I bet the Giants straight up, just like I bet this game.
You got that too.
I didn't want the points. I said they're going to beat them straight up. I didn't say the points, but I said they'll beat them straight up. I said they'll beat them straight. I don't want the points.
I'm just saying,
they'll beat them straight up. That's just always a chance. Look,
it is.
That's why you play the game. I mean, look, it's a lot of teams. When the Rams played the Patriots in New Orleans in the Super Bowl, the Rams were picked to win that game. The Patriots, that was like, whoa, a big shot. I mean, I think when you left the game, when this game ended, when they threw the Hail Mary, I think people like,
right?
That's it? Is it a penalty down there? I know it's a penalty. I know it's a penalty.
You're almost looking for something.
You almost, because they're the Patriots. And that's the ending everybody wants. Tom comes on the field. He's touchdown! That's what everybody wanted.
And Greg, this is the other part is, okay, what is the other alternate? When they make movies, they have other endings. Everything's all set up. So I'm asking you, if Tom Brady's this great guy, Tom versus time, where's the losing part? Right. That he doesn't even have a thing to deal with. That's the losing part.
But that's my point. I don't think he will even entertain that because he has a mindset that I'm going to beat it regardless.
You're right. I mean, you can't add. Eric, you never would have made a documentary where you do make an alternative ending. My thing is just wait.
No. I said wait.
Yeah, but you don't make a one where just in case you lose time. He's not going to entertain that. No pro athlete would entertain that.
No, but my point is, as producers who are doing this, what do we do if they lose?
No, should have just waited.
I agree. It's on the filmmakers.
Right.
But Tom, what would he have done to those producers if they would have said, make things
You say it's TV. This is what happens.
No, they would have got fired, and rightly so.
You gotta have. Then what are you gonna give to people?
You just wait till the Super Bowl's over.
So I'm saying, what are you gonna do now?
You can do it next year.
They're shooting it now. What would happen if he would lose? That's what they're shooting now. Okay, so episode 5. How did episode 5 end? Does anybody know?
I think what they're doing now is they're going to sit down and let him talk about even the process of the Super Bowl, losing a heartbreak game that they could have potentially won, and I think it'll still be great. It's not, you don't have to backtrack all the way. And if anything, what he did wrong, and I still don't think he did it wrong, but if there's anything for him to be faulted for, was releasing it at the time that he did. But to say prepare for a separate ending. That's no. Because if he released it and then we had an ending where it was like, man, did he think that they were going? Did he throw the game? Did he?
Yeah.
No. You have two prepared. You have two separate ones prepared.
It's not a good. But my point is, it's not a good look either way. If you prepared and you got one that
prepared.
says,
I'm not saying that you actually shoot it and he's saying, oh my God, it's terrible that we lost. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about being prepared that there's a chance
that we can lose.
That you could lose, and you gotta have something else to say to finish out the documentary. That's my point.
I guarantee this. I bet they had T-shirts printed up, Super Bowl champions. I guarantee that. Both teams probably had them.
They're on their way to Guatemala.
everybody at Disney World.
We just shred those up.
Eric, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure.
No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back again tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports, one of one.